So, as she said, I am an empowerment speaker. I'm also the creator and host of Women of Color, an intimate conversation. It's a podcast without a U, because in the US, we don't use the U's that way. But what I have two questions that I want to open up with. First off, um, are you living the life of your dreams? That's call and response. Do you want more out of life? All right, we're getting somewhere. So let me tell you a little bit about my journey. So in January of 2022, as I was deciding what my focus was for the year, I came up with live as my focus word. I had saw someone tweet about going beyond the dream cars, going beyond dream houses, and actually focusing on a dream lifestyle. So I decided, okay, that's cool. I'm going to focus on living a dream lifestyle. And so that's what I'm here to talk to you about. I have a framework that I created to help you to live your dream lifestyle. Before I get into that, I want to tell you a little bit more about my career path. And it's going to kind of speak to what Faustina talked about earlier today. So the journey, right? She talked about how as women of color, Black women especially, we face certain things. Our voices are not always heard. They're not listened to. We don't get the sponsorship, which is important to move you to the next level. So I was in my dream career, which was diversity and inclusion, and doing my thing. And we had a program for women of color, and it was to help high potential women of color, high performing women of color, get tools to move on to the next level. So it was started and created in D&I, which is where I was. So I'm like, hey, I want to be a part of that. Nope. Can I at least have a seat at the table to talk about it, to be a part of planning because this impacts my segments? Another no. All right, cool. Fast forward to December of 2020, I was told, hey, when you come back in January, we're moving you over to talent development. Guess what? To lead the Women of Color program. So the person, my leadership, thought that was something that I would just rave and be so happy for. No, I wasn't. Because when I came to you and said I wanted to be in the program, I wanted to be a part of it, you told me no. So now, for whatever reason, you're like, okay, we're going to move you. So I made a decision when I came back in January that I was going to retire and checked to see when could I retire, 18 months, and started playing chess while everyone else was playing checkers. So doing my thing, leading the Women of Color program, leveraged our online platform to make it accessible to our 250,000 employees. So again, the program itself was for a small number of women, but I also provided some tools for the entire company to be able to support women of color. Okay, now, as I said, I had a podcast. My podcast is Women of Color and Intimate Conversation. So it's kind of like a full circle moment, if you will, right? I'm leading women of color in the workplace. I have this podcast for women of color. And so you better believe I was leveraging all of that because I knew I was leaving. Now, let's get to the living a dream lifestyle. So my framework. So the first step of that is to dream. Who can define dream? Or just shout it out. When you think of dream, what words come to mind?
Imagination.
Okay.
Vision.
Vision. All right, perfect. One more.
Creativity.
Okay. So the Oxford languages, one of their definitions is aspiration, right? And so pretty much what everyone said. So this first step is dream. And in this particular step, you do just that. You imagine what you want. You envision what you want. There are no barriers. There's no wrongness in this particular stage. Those things that you said, I'll do when this is that stage. Those things that people said were unattainable, this is what happens in this dream phase, right? And those things that you envied in other people, that's what comes to mind too, just dream it, right? Now we move on to step 2, 3. And I call it's actually step 2 and plus, right? So it's my 3+Ds framework. So now we want to decide, right? So you had the dream, you thought, you went big. Now you need to decide exactly what you want to do. So an example that I use is you want a beach house. Anybody in here want a beach house?
Oh, yeah.
All right. So you dream that you want this beach house. You want this beach house for your family, and you want this beach house on an island. So that's the dream. The decision is that, right? Where do you want it? Oh, I want it in Kekaker, Belize. All right, cool, right? That's part of the decision. And I want it to have, big enough for the family. Okay, so again, that's part of your decision. So now you design it. That's the plus. Again, what is this beach house going to look like? What do you want it to have for you, right? Do you want it to be directly on the beach? Do you want it to be a block away from the beach? Do you want it to have 4 rooms? What is the style that you want it to have, right? This is all part of your design. So now, move forward is to the drive. Drive to make it happen. And so part of that is, let's say you're building it, right? So you go and you get with an architect. You have them come up with the framework for your house, come up with the actual designs, the plans for your house. Now you get with a realtor, right? Then you get pre-approved for a mortgage. These are all the steps of driving and making your things happen. So to kind of recap, so the steps that are included in this is dream, then you want to decide, design, and then you want to drive towards living your dream life. Now, are you ready to walk in your worth? All right. So, who has a dream that they have in mind? And let's kind of like walk through that a little bit. Yes.
When you say my dream life period.
Dream life. And and another thing about it with your dream, you can start off small with just one thing as opposed to, the whole big thing, right? Because sometimes when you're looking at the whole big thing, it gets overwhelming. So if you want to just start with small, that's fine. Like for me, my dream life is to travel, and that's why I'm here, right? That's why I came all the way from Detroit, Michigan, because I love to travel. Oh, cool, yeah, I'll hop on a plane, not a problem, right? That's my dream life. I created, designed, and decided and drove to make that happen for myself. I shared with several people when I leave here, I'm going to Brussels, then I'm going to Paris, and then I'm going back home. Because because that's what I love, right? That's part of my dream. So that's part of my lifestyle is to travel. So you were gonna say?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm living my dream life.
Love it.
It would be better with more travel. I work quite a lot, so yeah, travel would be good.
Yeah. So that's an example, right? So figure out how to make that happen for yourself. So for me, going back to 2022, I made that decision in January that living a dream lifestyle, travel being number one. So I started to travel. I used my my time off, right? And I traveled. I shared with people, this is what I'm doing. I'm living my dream lifestyle. And I did that because I wanted to empower. I wanted to give permission. I wanted to lead by example of what living a dream lifestyle looks like. So you can take that time. You can figure it out, right? I mean, I hear holidays are big over here, right? So I don't know if it's a specific time that everybody gets off or whatever, but use that and travel and figure out, what you need to do as far as putting money aside, come up with something creative, coach, whatever you're passionate about, do those other things to bring in that money to help you to be able to live that dream lifestyle. All right. Any other dreams and anything we want to kind of talk through? Well, thank you so much.